solid year of this high school. But finally, after a long time, we decided. Everyone please give a round of applause to the Leyva family. There are many reasons why we chose the Leyva family. Well, this is their first year at the high school, and all the other families have done so much, but we really thought that the Leyva family, being their first year, had put a lot of effort into the high school. And Mrs. and Mr. Leyva have 10 children. They have 6 who are in the school. They live an hour away, and they still always manage to arrive on the premises early. On top of that, Mr. Leyva is the vice principal of the high school, and therefore the personal slave of Father Duverger as well. Mr. Leyva is also the math teacher, and he's a science teacher. Additionally, he teaches not 1, not 2, but 11 teenagers, 5 of whom are boys, whereas Mr. Leyva likes to call them meatheads. It depends on the day, but oftentimes, Mr. Leyva stays at least an hour after school is over to tutor students and answer their questions. This means that his children at school must wait to go home, and his children and wife at home must wait for their dad and siblings to get back from school. Now, Mrs. Leyva wakes up early to prepare her children for the coming school day. After her husband and 6 older children leave, she is left at home with the 4 remaining toddlers, ages ranging from 1 to 5. The Todd Squad, as she calls them, or the Agents of Entropy, as Mr. Leyva calls them, are excellent company, as you can imagine. Never knowing exactly what time her husband and children would arrive at home after school, Mrs. Leyva was faced with the difficulty of keeping dinner warm. On top of that, due to the hour drive, on Wednesdays, Mrs. Leyva had to arrange for her children to stay at a parishioner's house until Mr. Leyva and their oldest son in high school were able to leave. In addition to this, the family takes part in extracurricular activities at the school and church. Mr. Leyva runs the Braves, which 2 of his sons are in, and who have a camp coming up next week, which she is greatly looking forward to.
It's actually tomorrow, in case you're wondering.
2 of his sons are in the cadets. 5 of the Leyva boys serve at Mass, and 2 more are looking forward to doing so soon. Their oldest daughter helps in the choir. The Leyva family is also a huge supporter of our Sunday bake sales. We always see Isaac over there buying all our goodies. We all admire the dedication, generosity, punctuality, order, and joy of this family. Who can't be grateful to see such a dedicated, generous, always ready to help couple that is well-trained, well-shaved, well-aligned, and those beautiful, helpful, and polite girls who compose the Leyva family. We should express our thanks to the Leyva family for all that they do by keeping them in our prayers. We are so grateful that they will be joining us again next year. Thank you, Leyva family.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. You do not have to go all the way to Palm Coast after your speech.
Yeah. down below. Soon may the welcome come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the pumpkin is done, we'll take our leave and go. Out to sea. When I put out to sea. When I put out to sea, and may there be no longing of the boat. When I put out to sea, when such a tide as moving seems asleep to fall for sound and foam. When I wish you from out the boundless deep turns again home, turns again home, turns again home. When I wish you from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening fell, and after that the dark, with a song in my heart, brighten my path and carry me on. All the way home. There's a beautiful thought in what we bring. There's strength in the cornerstone we sing. Easing our troubles, calming our fears. Joyful with harmony sing me all the way home, with a song in my heart. All the way home. Brighten my path and carry me on. All the way home. Evening brings a shining star, the red ancient anthers from afar. Silence below, a song in the sky. Joyful with harmony sing me all the way home, with a song in my heart. All the way home. Brighten my path and carry me on. All the way home.
Dealing with aircraft and fuel and bombs and soldiers and that sort of thing. But I took a look at the list that they put together for this, and all I had to do was just ad-lib, chicken for Marines or whatever. It was very complicated. So we want to give our most heartfelt appreciation to Mrs. Rhonda Sauer and Mrs. Catherine Bowden. Mrs. Bowser, well, she definitely gave it her all today. She had to leave. Aside from
I'm not going to talk
Days.
anymore. Keep a blessing. No, what I would like to extend this gratitude, of course, you know, the children to their parents, all of us to God. But here as a school, in the name of the parents and the children, I would like to conclude by the recognition of the teachers. You all know how we operate, how we start, how we try to survive. Year after year, you know, we struggle to have teachers, and the difficulty being that as everything, we try to rebuild. And so those here working in the construction know very well that it's easier to build than to rebuild. We rebuild on the chaos in the 60s to do short, right? I'm not going to do all the decades, I promise. But in the 60s, with the revolution in the church and in the society, education has been broken. And education is a trade, it's an art. If it was just knowledge, it would be easy. We would just go back to the books. That's what we try, right? But it's an art. And as during a whole decade, the principle was to cut down, to do exactly the contrary, not to take in account what has been done before, but the passing on of this trade, the passing on of education has been broken, has been lost. This aggressive program, they embrace it, the students embrace it, and overall, they are all floating, if not swimming, thanks to our teachers. So it's time to recognize them, to thank them. Of course, it's just a tiny drop, but the best we can do is to continue to pray for them and to support them as much as we can. That's what we try to do. That's was said this morning for the teachers. So, Mr. Leva, if you want to continue your excellent role of us. I should start by Mr. Leva. In a very disrespectful way, the children told me my slave. I would say my right hand, right, and I should say my friend. Thank you very much.
I should have been better prepared. This we're going to have, but the students, they see me carry this around. And any teacher that comes up to me and says, "What's happening right now?" "Oh, I don't know." How about Mr. Markopoulos?
It's important that we see his face because sometimes he just disappears.
Our distinguished art teacher, who the students have made excellent progress underneath her tutelage. Mrs. Clemens. Our distinguished musician, especially on the male side, Mr. Moro.
to sing all his life, but forgot. He's entering the monastery next month.
Things along, and Mrs. McCall. Miss Simon. Okay, or Miss first, but then Mrs. comes next. Is there a Father Duverger here?
It's okay.
That's okay. You can give him the flower.
Mrs. Alf, we comment on Maria. So Mrs. Alf was the most difficult end of the year. She tried to give classes for Spanish until the end, but of course, as a good mother, she dedicated all her energy to Maria. Went through a terrible surgery of I think it was 5 or 6 hours. Spent 5 days in the hospital, is finally back at home for the last 3 days. And going well, that she's going to have months of recuperation. So if you can, please keep your Mrs. Alf and Maria. But Mrs. Alf is very affected by the suffering of her daughter, the future of her daughter. If you could keep this family in your prayers, please, it would be very grateful. Thank you.
One person that I don't have on this list, but is really responsible for the list. All the infrastructure under youth that would not be here without her, Miss Mary Galen. A honorable or dishonorable mention, either way, Mr. Simmerman. There are no flowers. There's no accolades, but we're used to that, right? Don't worry.
Mr. Sir helped us during 2 years, and I would like to request special prayer to Saint Joseph because he might be back next year. Mr. Cook has been here for 1 year, and he has to go back to his studies, but we hope that in some years, as a priest, you will be back with